All right, let's take a look at Llamafile, which is by Mozilla. I honestly haven't had many use cases for this, but it might be fun to just try it out to see how it works. But the idea is Llamafile allows you to have this single distributable file that we can utilize. So let's see if we can make that work. So here, there are very specific models that are available. So 3.2, 1 billion is one that I like quite a bit. So it'd be very interesting to pull that one and run it. If I'm going to run this, I probably should connect to my remote machine. So I have an Intel Lunar Lake developer kit that has more compute on it. So I'm going to just quickly connect to that and let me just start up that machine, okay? All right, so I just started my machine on my network. I'm going to go ahead to a remote desktop and connect to it. Now, could you do this on some kind of other compute? Probably, but I'm just feeling to use this here today, or choosing to use this here today. So I'm going to go ahead and connect to this machine, and it's just a Windows machine that has a Lunar Lake processor in it. So it's as good as probably like my RTX 3060 that's sitting beside me, actually, if not better. Here you can see that the keyboard or the mouse that I have installed is a Razer one, but the idea here is that I want to go ahead and navigate to Llama Index. So we'll go ahead here. I'm going to just type in Llama Index. And we'll go over to here. And I just want to get started with it. Oh, this is Llama Index. I meant to say Llamafile. Okay. And so apparently we can just download it. This one in particular is set up for Mac, it looks like. Is this only for Windows or for Mac? Let's see. Do we have Windows here? If you're on Windows, rename the file by adding a .exe. Okay, so it should be as simple as that. This one says this is Llama 1.57 billion parameter. I want to download something that is a little bit more modern. So like Llama 3.23 billion. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can download that. And from here, there should be some kind of download. Oh, okay. So we'll hit download here. And so now we are downloading the Llama file. And while that is downloading, I'm going to go back and take a look at the instructions. So if you're on Windows, rename the file by adding .exe to the end. And it's as simple as that. If we're on a Mac, then you do chmod. And technically we have Windows Subsystem Linux installed this machine, so we could do it the Linux way. But we'll do it the Windows way, as you know, you should be comfortable either or with Linux or Windows. But we'll give that a moment to download, okay? And I mean, we can try to execute it both on Windows and Linux here, but we'll just focus on Windows here in the short term. So now this file should be done. Should be done. Okay, great. And so I want to find where that file is. I'm going to go dip to my downloads. Just give me a moment here. And so I'm going to rename this as it suggested to have .exe on the end. .exe. Yes, we'll change it so it has it. And now it's suggesting us to run it that way. So I'm going to open up Terminal on Windows 11. And this is in my downloads. So we'll go into my downloads here. Not my documents, my downloads. And we have the name here. So it's usually this way when we're on backslash. So /. And so we'll go ahead and hit enter and see if that executes. So it's launching up. That's pretty cool. Okay, cool. It's kind of like an Ollama experience. Very similar to the Ollama experience, to be honest. Hello, how are you? Okay, that's pretty good. We also have it being served on a very specific port, on port 8080. I like how it's telling us exactly, well, I don't know, this is Arrow Lake. This is a Lunar Lake, so it's interesting that it's calling Arrow Lake S, unless that's another name for Lunar Lake. Another interesting thing is you can see the model. It's a .gguf. We'll probably talk about gguf files in another video. But down below here, I imagine we could interact with it programmatically. So it is running here, but if we open this up, we can see, yeah, we could specify the URL endpoint for it. So that's kind of cool. or we could use curl. But now that we got it working in Windows, I'd be interesting to try in Linux, as that's probably a more common use case here. I'm not sure how we exited. I just did Command or Control C multiple times. And so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to just take off that .exe on the end of it, if I'm allowed to. I'm not sure how I would do that. I'm not seeing extensions here, so maybe that's something I can fix in my settings, wherever that is. So I want to see all extensions. I don't want to hide any types. There we go. So now I can go ahead and rename this and take off the .exe. Yep, we're going to just change it back into a binary. I'm going to open up VS Code, which should have WSL accessible here, which we did in a separate video. Which video I cannot tell you, but it's somewhere here. We're going to drop this down. We're going to make our way over to WSL. We'll give it a moment here to open. Great. And so there should be a way that we can access it here, because it looks like it is going based on local here. So if we go back a couple steps here, do we have downloads in here? We do. Excellent. And so I'm going to go ahead and do ls-la. So we're looking at to see if it's executable. It looks like it is. I'm not 100% certain, but if it's not, we're going to chmod it, do u+x. That's the usual thing that we do for that. And I mean, it looks the same to me, so I think that it's executable now. I think we just do this very similarly, like that. Okay, and so again, similar experience. We can talk to it there. I don't want to talk to it there. What I actually want to do is write some code here. I think I showed this Ollama stuff before. I didn't figure out a way to get this accessible another way still. I'm going to open up another Ubuntu WSL here. I'm just going to cd back here. I'm going to make a new directory. This is going to be called, I like how I spelled Ollama wrong previous as well. This is going to be Llama file basics. And I'm just going to go here. And I want to interact with that endpoint. So we'll go back over to this. And we have a curl, but I'm more interested in the Python code. So we'll go grab this one here. We are using Llama. So I'm not sure, like, well, hold on. This is Llama CCP, port 80. If you're already software development OpenAI Python package, then you should be able to do it. Okay, that's interesting. So it works with the OpenAI interface. It's not an OpenAI model, but that's interesting that you can utilize that. I thought you'd have to use Hugging Face or something. You probably can use Hugging Face, as you probably just point it to an endpoint. But let's go back over to here into VS Code. And I'm going to just type in code period to open this up. I guess it's installing it. I actually found this out today. I was working with my friend Tim, and I actually let this install all the way, and then it actually opened up a new one. So that was really good. There we go. So now we're in the context of this project, which is a little bit better. And so I'm going to make a new file here. This is going to be called app.py. I'm just pasting the contents in here. And for the most part, I don't think there's really much we have to change. I don't think we need an API key because there's nothing special here. It is running on port 8080. I'm not sure if it's version 1. I think it's just port 8080. This is Llama CPP, which I'm not exactly sure about, but let's go ahead and see if we can run this. I'm going to go ahead and go to my terminal. Actually, I kind of prefer if this was a notebook. It'd be easier to work with. So it's IPYNB. For now, I have that memorized, and I lost my code, which is totally fine. And I really mucked that up, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Okay, I'm going to try this again. App.ipynb. And we'll add our code block. It's a little bit harder because I'm in a remote desktop, so I have to click everywhere I need to go here, but we'll go ahead and paste that in. And so here we have this. We'll go ahead and run that. It might not know what OpenAI is. Is it running? Let me save that. It's acting kind of funny here. Let's open this again. Is this not code? Let's try this. Code. Yeah, it's code. Maybe we'll select a kernel here. Oh, the extension's already been installed for this. Okay, so it's going to install the Jupyter extensions here. Fair enough. First time doing it. Probably would have kept that for another video, but that's totally okay. So this is going to install the Python extension and the Jupyter extension, and so this way it can actually interact with Python and stuff like that. So we'll give it a moment to install. There we are. So those are both installed. Again, I'm going to try to select a kernel, and we'll go ahead and select 312. I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and it says running cells requires IP kernel and pip. Yeah, go ahead and install it. There is no pip installer available for this environment. Okay. So it is attempting here. I mean, it's just like whatever the environment is. So if I go over back to the environment, it's just because it's such a fresh environment. Like, we have pip here. Does pip exist? Is pip 3 here? Yeah, it's not even aware of any environment. So, I'm just trying to decide here. Do I want to get this working now, or do I want to show it in another video, as we are supposedly going to set that up later? I'm going to leave this alone, but I'm going to go ahead and just take this file. We're going to go back the other way. So I'm not going to set up the notebook right now, as I want that for another video, which you may have seen already or you may have not seen. I'm not sure, but we'll go ahead and save this and try this again. And we'll just run it the old-fashioned way, which is totally fine. So I'll just say Python app.py. And it's saying it doesn't know what that is. We'll try Python 3. Are we in WSL? This is bash. Python 3. Python 3. There we go. We have Python 3 for sure. And sometimes this can be a little bit finicky. There we go. So I'm going to type this again. So we'll try Python 3 app.py. And that's understandable. It doesn't know what that is. So can I do pip install? OpenAI. I'll just do this with 3. So there's no pip. So I have no environment set up, and that's kind of an issue. So in a separate video, what I need to do is I need to actually show how to set that up. So you know what? I'm not going to worry about this. I'm confident that this will work. Let's just focus on the curl one. I just don't want to end up installing Conda and all that stuff here when I want to leave that for a separate video. So what we'll do is, again, we just want to interact with that programmatically. So I'm going to go here up to the curl command, 8080, right? And so here, bearer no key, because I don't think it requires a key. And so maybe we could try to run this one here. I don't know why this is being shown here. I guess it's because it's, yeah, I don't even know why they're doing that there. That doesn't make any sense. But we'll go back over to here. And this is running right now in, well, we renamed it, right? So is this even still running? Okay. So what we'll do, we'll go back a couple steps here, because this is in our downloads, right? And the first thing I want to do is run Llama 3.2x. I thought we were already running it. Maybe in another window we were. Yeah, we were over here. Okay, so I'm going to just stop this here. I don't want it twice. Okay, so I'll close this one out. And in here, yeah, we're running it right now. And this is in WSL. So in another WSL window, I apologize for the mess. Do we have curl? We do. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in the curl command. And we'll hit enter. It says cannot connect on port 8080. We'll go back over to here. This is on port 8080. So I just need a scratch pad here, and we're going to paste in this here. I'm going to carefully look at this. So it says V1 chat completions. I'm not sure if that's really the endpoint for it, as we don't know. That kind of looks like the OpenAPI standard way of doing it, which wouldn't necessarily be wrong. So, I mean, nothing looks wrong here per se, but I'm not sure what Llama CPP is. I honestly haven't seen that before. So I'm going to go here and make a new tab. Maybe that's a very specific model. Oh, they're saying Llama CPP. So they're literally talking about inferring from a CPP file. Okay, but we are using something else, which is GGUP. So let me go back over to here. Yeah, there should be some way to make this work. Give me a second. I'll be back in just a moment, okay? All right, so it's still not working. I'm thinking maybe I'll just copy this verbatim, and we'll try to give that a go, as I did take out the authorization, but maybe we need to actually pass bearer no key, and that's maybe the reason why it's failing. As I was trying to do a plain curl on it, just as localhost, and it says couldn't connect to the server. So go ahead and hit enter, and now it works. Okay, so hello. I mean, like it didn't error out per se, but this one has the bearer token in it as well. So why doesn't that one work? We'll go ahead and paste this in again. That one doesn't have the closing parentheses though here. I wonder if that's maybe the problem here. Let's go ahead and try this and hit enter. Yeah, and I don't know. They just didn't give us good code, I guess. Yeah, I don't like this. It seems like there's a lot of work. We might be able to get it programmatically to work, but just because I don't have the environment set up here and I don't want to do that video, I guess we'll just call it quits here. But yeah, it's interesting to see that you can run this. Maybe when we get a little bit more experience with Llama CPP, this will be a lot easier for us to do. Or if we have this environment, it'd be less of an issue. But you know, we got it running, so we can clearly work with it. But programmatically, if you really want to work with this way, then you'll have to do more work. So why would you want this? Well, let's say you want to bundle an app and you just need the binary, you want to drop it in there. Obviously, that is a really easy way to do it. I personally think it's not hard to use servers like that actually serve files. So I suppose you could do this if you don't want to include any additional code. But I feel like, you know, often if you are serving a model, you're working with Python anyway as a Python app. But I guess if you had one binary that was your like your Llamafile here that runs your actual model, and you had another binary, and you just wanted to drop it on a machine, and you had the two, then I suppose that could be great for local inference. But yeah, I mean, that's it, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, ciao.